Hello again. We have just finished up the displacement effects control, and now we're going to move on to the bump, which has quite a few options, so let's delve straight in. So the cracks have a bump variation. Crack 1 it might be an idea to remember to put the bump back on. That would help. So crack 1 can be a bump to save on subdivisions if you wanted to. What's happening here is that the scale, that would be why I set the scale so high, crack 1, 15. It's being hidden by the bump crack mask, because the displacement has a crack mask and the bump has a crack mask, and they act separately. So at the moment I'm covering a fair bit. If I, in the same way as the other one, open it up, now we can see the cracks across all of the bricks, and again that's bump, so you don't need loads of subdivisions for that. Crack 0 behaves slightly differently in that it doesn't really doesn't look like a crack, and what you need to do is, because of the way these are all connected, is just bring in a bit of random holes shape. Let's just change the shape of crack 0 to be a bit more obvious, 0.6. There we go. So you can see they're kind of thin wavy cracks, or you can have the straight angular cracks, or have both with a 0.5 mix. So you got a bit of both now. And again, the cracks bump mask, we're wide open right now. If we close it up a bit, you can see it happening. Now there's nothing here, but we still got it. Functions in exactly the same way as the displacement cracks mask, so we need go no further on that one. So let's just turn the old cracks off for a second, and let's look at find random holes bump mix. And there is a point of note about this one. If you set this to 1, you're only going to get the holes. The fine bump detail that is over every single brick has disappeared. You can, if you want that effect, that's great. If you wanted really shiny bricks, then get rid of the bump, I suppose. But I would normally mix that about 0.8, 0.9, because then you can see now this fine details come back, but I've still got the holes. Maybe 0.9. Yeah, because I want to keep the random the fluffiness of the bricks. All right. Oh, yep. Sorry, random hole shape. I never really edit these. They're supposed to be holes, so they need that contrast between them to look like holes. If you wanted lumps and bumpy roughness, then you might want to mess with that. And again, the scale changes it. So if we put it up to 40, we'll have a ton of dinky little holes which are harder to see. But there's a load. So let's just put that 10 so they're even more clear. So that's the random hole shape. Fine broken brick bump mix is a good one, because let's just, again for ease, let's turn everything else off. Let's whack this all the way up. And with this one, it's a similar thing. If it's on 1, you'll get the bump effect that this one deals with, but you again lose all of the fine detail. So this is another one that I would probably mix at 0.9, and that it doesn't make much of a difference if it's that just means it's allowing this to come through. You're not controlling how much of an effect the fine detail has. You're just saying, yeah, you can come to the party too, man. And the fine broken brick bump mix, other than being difficult to say, what that does is it tells the wall how far from the wall this bump should take effect. So at the moment, I'm telling it, because these sliders are all the way over here, that I want the bricks closest to the wall to be affected. So if I just try and see if I can bring that further out, I just want a subtle effect, so it will be easier to see when I drag the rest. Move it. In fact, for this, let's just put it on 1, so it's just that bump. Okay, it's way easier to see, Nick. So now you can see the ones close to the wall, they're all messed up as though they've been eroded and broken. And then if I open it completely, every single brick, regardless of height, is going to get that effect. So even the ones way out of the wall. So that isn't the way I'd use that effect. I would always use it to just have some of them like that. Some of the bricks, maybe not that many. It's because I've got the black out. Let's drag that back. And let's keep moving it back. So you can see there's only a few bricks that's been affected by this particular bump. And the closer they are together, we've got 3 bricks basically affected. And again, mark it down to 0.9. And it lets the fine detail back through. And you've still got the bump. Although with the fine detail, it becomes a little bit less obvious. Unless I open the whole thing and then it's abundantly clear that the bump is affecting everything else. Alright. So we've looked at the bump mask, broken brick, sporadic lumpy bump. This one, it's just messy, really. That's what that does. Rather than the fine detail fills in every single bit, the lumpy bump doesn't. So you could use that one instead of the fine detail. But again, with this one, if you mix at 0.9, you've got your sporadic and the fine detail all over the bricks. So without it, it's just that detail. And with it, all the way, it's that detail. And with it at 0.9, it's a bit of both. And the main bump, I mean, yeah, either turn it off or change the, if you wanted less of a bump, I'd probably put them both at 0.2. So now it's still there, but not quite as quite an effect. Once you go over 1, it doesn't seem to make a. I know it does. It's made quite a lot of difference actually. Yeah, it's made a huge difference. And then you can invert them. So anything that's a hole becomes a lump. Anything that's a lump becomes a hole. That's the bump, all in a nutshell. So we've only got 2 more to do. We might be able to get them both in the same one, because that isn't going to take long at all. Yeah, wicked. Alright, you're still there, I'm still here, and I'm going to see you at the next one. Until then, bye bye.